What's going on, y'all? It's your boy So, and welcome back to the channel for another episode of OnlyFans, the Dolphins post-game show where we recap the game and react along the way. This week, the Dolphins survived the injury bowl as they beat the San Francisco 49ers 29-17 to keep their very, very, very slim playoff hopes alive. It's time to take a ride, y'all. Let's go!
Fans up in the building, rep the gear from toe to ceiling. 305 stays on the brim, by 95 we poppin' wheelies. On the way out to the rock, time to see the trio fly. OBJ, Tyreek, and Waddle, speed and swag solidifies. Two was Babby in the pocket, got my D coordinating. With the Weaver operating, on the sideline formulating. Strategizing for that dub, let's get A-Train on the track. Chubbs and Ramsey, Phillips healthy, boy, we bout to crack some backs. Time to change the narrative, F off with all due respect. Criticism at its finest, break the cycle down the stretch. Top dog offense in the league, let's keep it going postseason. Bring that heat in cold weather, that's a Dade County reason. OnlyFans.
What's going on, y'all? It's your boy So riding solo, getting you guys ready for the holiday season. We got the holidays coming up. Just want to wish you guys a very safe and happy holidays. From So here, and Joel, he's still on vacation, but I'm out here to bring you this recap from OnlyFans Week 16. And yeah, it's looking crazy because the Dolphins beat another bad team, right? A sub 500 team. I have to say that and make that very clear. And the 49ers, who are, pretty much wrapping up their season. They got eliminated earlier today from playoff contention. The Dolphins, with this victory, keep their very, 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 very slim hopes alive. And, last week when I said the season was over, it's pretty much over because not only do the Dolphins have to win out in order to keep that door open, they're going to need a lot of help from some other teams in order to get there. Mainly Denver. They're going to need help from the Chiefs to beat those guys. Going to need some help from a lot of teams, man. And I'm not here to get into what they could do or what could happen. I got to focus on the here and now, right? Right now, the Dolphins beat the 49ers 29-17. To get to 7-8 on the season. 49ers dropped to 6-9 on the season. And I think the one thing that stood out to me in this game was the actual attempt to create a running game. It was an actual attempt by Mike McDaniel and the offensive staff to create and promote and produce a running game this Sunday. And I only say that because, yeah, Achane got a big carry late in the fourth quarter, 50-yard touchdown. But prior to that, he actually got the carries, right? He was on a pace for over 10 carries. First time he's gone over 15 carries in Lord knows how many weeks. And he ends the day with 17 carries for 120 yards with a long touchdown on the 50-yard play. But the reason why I started off with the running game is because that's what led to all of the success on offense. And even the one time that we were able to score a touchdown prior to Achane's touchdown with Tyreek Hill, we got there because we used the running game, we used the play action, and we used Tyreek Hill coming across the field to get that touchdown and move the ball downfield and put us in a position where we can score. But the other thing that the running game does is limits Tua's passing attempts. We didn't have to throw over 40-something times this game. Tua ended the game with 22 completions on 34 attempts for 215 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 INTs, 0 sacks taken. This is the first game in at least 6 weeks where the Dolphins have 0 turnovers, 0 sacks, and just played a legit mistake-free game. Now, that doesn't mean that Tua didn't make bad throws. He made plenty of bad throws. He overthrew a Tyreek Hill twice, put it up in the freaking bleachers for Austin Craycraft, River Craycraft to go get. It was like everything that was coming out of his arm slot today was higher than what the wide receivers were trying to expect or breaking on the cut. Tua was not accurate today. It was not accurate today, and that's part of the issue here with this season and the offense, right? There's always Tua's good game, and then the running game suffers. Running game is good, Tua suffers. Wide receivers play good, everybody gets hurt. Like, it's always something with this team. And today was that day, right? Tua did not look the best that he's looked in this recent stretch, but we also had the reliance of the reliability of the running game, right? In order to keep the pace and keep the 49ers at bay. And even as a receiver, man, Devon Achane, with 6 catches over 70 yards, He did it all today. And that was one of my biggest gripes with Mike McDaniel. It's like, dog, Achan is one of our best players. How are we not giving this guy multiple 20 attempts, whether it's 15 rushings, 5 catches, 20 rushes, 3 catches, whatever? Get this guy the ball. And it can't be doing stupid bubble screens all the time that the 49ers were able to sniff out multiple times this game. But we have to give our best playmakers the ball. And say what you want about Tyreek Hill and his playmaking ability. He dropped too many easy passes for me today. The one that hit his chest in the end zone. Yeah, the defender made a swipe at it, but dog, you gotta have that instant reaction to close, you know what I'm saying, the pocket and secure that. There was another pass that he dropped earlier today, and it was just like, I don't know if he's locked in. You know, he doesn't look like the same Tyreek Hill. Injuries, age, not being involved in the offense, whatever you want to name it. But there's something up with Tyreek Hill, right? And I thought with Jalen Waddle missing this game due to a knee injury, I thought that, you know, we were going to see a very aggressive Tyreek Hill, but we didn't. 3 catches, 29 yards, 1 touchdown on 7 targets. I'm going to run that back. 3 catches on 7 targets for 29 yards and 1 touchdown. That's like Tyreek Hill money, man. That's not what we're paying this guy worth. You know what I'm saying? Like we're paying this guy, and he's not giving us the return on investment. Let's say. I think that we have to really consider the possibility of moving on from Tyreek Hill, especially the way that Malik Washington played today. You know, like I felt like he could have done a lot of the same things that Tyreek Hill does. Obviously, you know, he's not as known or as productive in the NFL. He's a rookie. Tyreek Hill's been in the league for a while, but he brought in all his catches. Well, except for 1 attempt, 1 target, but he made 3 catches for 28 yards. It's like, okay, what do we need Tyreek Hill for? To be a distraction? I don't know. Another thing, we continue to see Jonnu Smith be a huge part of this offense. The announcers made a very big, important claims in their preview meeting with Tua and the rest of the offense, and Tua even came out and said, you know, Jonnu is my safety blanket. Whenever I'm in trouble, I'm going to look to him. I'm going to look to him for dump offs. I'm going to look for him to make hard catches. And thankfully, Jonnu was up to it, because without him being that reliable, you know, tight end in the middle, making those catches and being a big target for Tua, I don't know how much, you know, I don't know how accurate or how much better Tua would have looked today without those two guys, Achane and Jonnu Smith, because they were our leading wide receivers today. 130 yards between both of them for 12 catches. I don't know, man. The defense was sloppy. We saw Jordan Brooks get hurt, but he played a great game. Chop continues to figure out how to put pressure on the defense, on the offense, from the defensive standpoint, and just using all his skills, right? And his athleticism to get to the quarterback. He had a good game, in my opinion, where he was able to pressure the quarterback a lot. Agba played well today. Anthony Walker showed up for work. But yeah, the defense didn't play lights out. And if it wasn't for Sealer's sack, if it wasn't for, Calais Campbell playing really well, Chop Robinson getting his sack, I don't know if the defensive backs would have been, protected enough had it not been for the great defensive line play today. And that even showed up in the one mistake that Purdy had, right, where he had the interception. Calais Campbell was all up in his face, made him throw the ball much sooner. He didn't get a chance to step into the throw, and Kohu was able to pick that off by stepping in front of the pass. But I don't know, man. There was a lot to be desired for this game, because, going into halftime 13-10 and the Dolphins leading, I didn't feel too excited about it. But then in the third quarter, we get the 2 field goals, and it's like, all right, man, maybe this is just going to be a field goal battle. And then we saw both teams score a touchdown in the fourth quarter, and that made the game a little bit tighter. But obviously, Devon Achan's 50-yard run, like I mentioned earlier on the show, iced the game. But there were, I'm looking at the stats here, and it was very, very well even. There was, 13 passing touchdowns, first downs, for the Dolphins, 16 for the 49ers. We got third down efficiency. We were 4 of 12. They were 5 of 13. Total plays right there, 64-61 in favor of the Dolphins. Total yards, 381 to 374 in favor of the Dolphins. So, the 49ers were in this game and they were able to move the ball. They just struggled when it came to the red zone and being able to finish drives. A lot of times when you settle for 3 points as a team that's built on high-powered offense, that can kind of kill your momentum and kind of kill the the lethal weapon that you can be on offense when you're not scoring touchdowns. And look, we know that the 49ers are completely hurt, right? They're playing with their 5th and 6th running backs. They had Debo Samuel pretty much line up as a running back for the second half. Then that guy did it all for them today. He caught a touchdown. He ran the ball. He returned kicks when he had to, like, because they're that desperate for players or healthy bodies, and Debo is not even 100% himself. So yeah, we beat a bad team in the 49ers, right? Because this team is not good right now. It's just not. They're a team that's struggling, just like we are or we were. They're dealing with injuries in key positions like we are and were throughout the season. And at 6-9 for the 49ers, like, their season is pretty much a wrap. But focusing on the Dolphins, I'm still not sure how this pans out, let's say, in these last 2 games. Because as I mentioned in the last episode, this is where we're gonna see who wants to play for this team, right? We're gonna see who wants to come in and be a starter, be a reserve player here. I gotta mention this because it was just so it was so noticeable. The backups that we have right now, Duke Riley and that company in the linebacker division is really bad. It's really bad. So if Walker has to miss this game, if Anthony, if Brooks has to miss next game with this injury, we're gonna be in bad shape back there for these next 2 games. And we're going on the road, and we're gonna be in cold weather, climates. Now, the only thing that's saving the Dolphins' schedule right now, I guess, right, if we want to call it that, is that the fact that the teams that they're going to be facing in the Browns and the Jets are bad teams, right? We saw the Browns get their ass kicked today. The Jets got their ass kicked again. Like, it's tough to say, yeah, we're gonna go out there and beat them with that confidence. You know what I mean? Like, we can't. I don't know, man. Like, we can't have this confidence or this bravado saying, well, we're gonna go in there and win out this next 2 weeks and let the chips fall where they may. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. And Tony Romo kept saying it over and over during the broadcast, like, well, they got to win out and to get some help. Win out. When have things been ever this easy for the Dolphins? When can you guys, as fans, remember us winning out and getting the help that we needed in order to make the playoffs? Like, we're asking for a lot here. We're under still 10% chance here of making this playoffs. Under 10% chance. It doesn't make me feel great, but what it does is, and I stress to you guys got to look at this game in this type of fashion. Like, who are the guys making plays? Who are the guys putting in the effort? Who are the guys, trying to make the name, trying to show that hustle, trying to make it here for next year? Because there's certain guys that know that they're going to be here next year, right? Tua knows, Jalen Ramsey knows, Sealer knows. Like, there's guys that know that they're going to be here. But for the rest of the guys, Holland, Tyreek Hill, John Smith, right? Like, he has another year on his contract. Like, these are all questions of, what are we gonna do, right, in order to make this team better for next year? And I hate that I'm talking like that with 2 games left, but let's face it, folks. These next 2 weeks are gonna be a roller coaster, right? Because the Dolphins aren't really that good, and we're playing inferior opponents, teams that we should be and we're all gonna be favored in. But it's also the pressure of those games and what they mean, right? The Dolphins can't afford to slip. You can't afford another loss. They're gonna have to be looking at the scoreboard and hoping that another team beats another team for them, right? Like, these are all things that add up to the mental factors that can determine the outcome of the game. And I don't know if the Dolphins are going to be able to keep this focus. They inside the locker room is a different story, and we don't have access to that, right? But for us, the fans, we're going to have to take it step by step and really see if the Dolphins approach this next game against the Browns with that same intensity, with that same fire, with it's all or nothing type of attitude. I don't know. And it sucks to say it like that, because we got to wait all the way up until Sunday to play again, right? We're gonna get these Christmas fixtures in, and then hope to to see what shakes out for the Dolphins. But by Sunday, the picture should be a lot clearer. The game got flexed out of national broadcast. It was supposed to be a Sunday night football game, got moved up to 4:05, and partly because of who we are and who we're playing and where we're at on the season, right? So what went from being a marquee matchup for the Dolphins ends up being another regular game, but with even more importance because of what's on the line. I don't know, man. I wish I could be optimistic here and say, yeah, we're gonna fucking run through these next 2 games and get this playoff berth. I don't know. In my mind, yeah, these 2 games are winnable, but we're gonna have to see a better version of this Dolphins team. It can't be this Dolphins team that we saw this week. It can't be the same type of version that we saw the previous week when we lost to the Texans. It has to be the best that the Dolphins can play right now. And if the best that the Dolphins can play right now is mediocre, then yeah, we stand a chance to lose to the Browns, right? Because we're gonna be on the road. And if we happen to beat them and still play mediocre against the Jets, there's a chance we can lose to them too. Just because of it being a division game to end the season, and so much would be riding on it for us that the Jets will probably be even more, excited to get us out of that bubble, right? And snap that for us. I don't know, man. I'm happy that they won. I guess it improves the the win total for the season. I was kind of hoping that we were being in tank mode, but can't tank with 3 games left and not really being able to move up into a top 5 position. So we're kind of stuck in that no man's land, right? Where we're going to be picking between 10 and 15, 10 and 17, depending on how these next 2 weeks shake out. And then we got to talk about how that's going to improve the team. But before we get there, guess what? We got to see that Browns game on the 29th and see if the Dolphins can actually show up to a big game, beat an inferior opponent on the road in cold weather and keep your somewhat, crazy playoff hopes, slim playoff hope alive by getting a victory. By then, Joel will be back and we'll be able to talk to you about what's going to happen in the rest of the season. But this was a good victory, I guess, for the Dolphins. They keep their playoff hopes alive. 49ers got to take that long-ass flight back home, 6+ hours, and just wondering about what their season could have been. But the Dolphins are still thinking about what their season could be. And that's important, right? And it doesn't matter here on the comments or on OnlyFans or what anybody else says. Inside the locker room is where it counts. And we're going to see if these guys are really about that. But I appreciate you guys joining us, man. It's been a great year for Sports with So-So. It's been a great year for OnlyFans. We got a lot of things that we want to bring to you guys and continue to show you. So we appreciate all the support. Next week, we'll have the full squad back. Joel will be back in town, and hopefully we'll be talking about another Dolphins victory over the Browns, and they keep pushing towards the playoffs, I guess. But this is the time where you got to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to hit that notification button. Make sure you're subscribed to the podcast and hitting that like and comment button. We love to know what you guys are thinking. Please let me know if you guys agree with me on my taste, right? Because sometimes they can be outlandish. But I'm going to leave it with that. It's your boy So. Till next time. Peace.